Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience presented by DraftKings. Friends, it's time. We waited an extra 6 months for the 2020 Masters Picks Bets One and Done entire field preview. If you've already missed the DraftKings Millionaire Maker Picks and Preview, that is already out on Mayo Media Network. Subscribe to Mayo Media Network right now, okay? Also, if you're listening to the audio version of the show, please rate and review 5 stars. Scroll to the bottom of your iPhone, boom, 5 stars, feeling generous. Say, hey, I like this show. Boom, you should listen to it too. Boom, you're good to go. Maximum 30 seconds, minimum 4 seconds-ish. Also, smash the like button to this episode and tell me your one single favorite bet at the 2020 Masters. You want to play in the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League? $15 to play. 3 max entry. No rake, making it the best tournament on DraftKings. It's almost full already, so if you want your spot, hit the description of this video or podcast and reserve yourself that spot right now. No rake. How can you do better? There's a millionaire maker on DraftKings as well. We are talking about betting today. Geoff Fienberg is in studio, host of the Geoff Fienberg Show on ftndaily.com. We got a ton of stuff. I'm doing a live chat, noon Eastern, on Wednesday on Mayo Media Network. We're going to be live for the Cut Sweats, which you just informed me I have to adjust the time on. I forgot about Split Tees.
Split Tees daylight. You forgot more about daylight than the Split Tees.
That's true.
It'll be dark by the time you thought we would start.
Yeah, so it's not going to start at 5. It's probably going to start at 3. I'll release it on, once we see how the Tuesday or the Thursday round goes, I'll release it then.
I'm fired up. Masters Cut Sweat. They dropped the cut line on us this morning.
We'll get to that.
It's super, I don't know, with football, it's all weird. It's all weird. I was happy I was able to take a disciplined approach because of the Masters.
This is
normally on its own.
Yeah, well, we've talked about, although we did a show in December about our Masters bets, and then we've been trying to pick up pieces along the way, and now we're at the point where when I look at the board, like, I don't like any of these bets. Yeah. It sucks.
No, you don't like the bets that people are looking at this week. You like your bets.
I like the bets that I have in. I feel good about those.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the board right now, like, I don't know who I'm going to add, if anyone. Or even if I was, let's say I had no bets, and this is where I was starting from, I wouldn't know what to do.
You made a great point that we'll expand on. And I'm not going to name names, but it's just sort of like, yes, we are seeing a consortium of...
Are you Ned Isakoff?
We
won't name names?
Considering how many guys are essentially like 16 and under, they didn't bump up the next tier. The guys that are 30 didn't go to 40.
Maybe they will as the week goes on. Like, whoever doesn't get bet on, you'd have to think, like, if no one wants to bet Jason Day at 30-1, maybe he goes to 40.
Yeah, I don't know. That is one of the few, as I said, every year, there's sort of like 1 or 2 guys that'll really crash before everyone else the week before. No one's going to drop. Jason Day, there were 50s through the weekend. I guess him just showing life in Houston. Forgetting how he played Sunday, him just showing life was like, you know what, is worth a chance. He's got 4 career top 10s at the Masters. I would assume the day I first met you, if you could have picked a guy to win 1 Masters in the next 10 years, Jason Day might have been your favorite. Or a favorite. I'm not saying you particular, but he could have been the favorite player for like an anytime Masters win when we started doing this X amount of years ago.
Yeah, in 2005, it would have been Rory or Day. I think those would have been the 2 choices at the time. And neither of them have it.
No, weird. Here we are. Fun.
I want to recommend that everyone go check out fantasynational.com. You want to make a few bets? You better consult fantasynational.com first. It has all of the stats, all of the tools, completely customizable. You're playing on DraftKings this week. It's a must, especially if you're entering more than 1 lineup. Go to fantasynational.com/Mayo. Get yourself that discount. Fantasy National members had a good Houston Open. I'm not going to lie to you.
I saw
a couple 5-figure wins on DraftKings.
I saw quite a few. People are like...
Ruvi hit Ortiz 150-1.
Crediting Fantasy National.
It actually showed it. I don't know why I wasn't on it, too.
Your guy.
Sucks. My guy, yeah. I know. I love Ortiz.
Yeah, held off some quality names. That was very impressive. You said he had that in him.
And here it is. It just happened 5 years after I thought it was going to happen.
150 was what you could have got in it?
I think it was.
100?
I think that was like the lowest you could have got it. Like I think there was like 200s out there. But Ruby was the only one I saw with it, so here we are. I saw some live Ortiz, but he was the only one I saw pre-tournament.
I'm not going to lie. Even Ortiz live, it's like, of all these guys, I don't think he's going to actually win because he was putting all these long range. And then on Sundays, chipping and putting long range. That's how you win.
It is.
Everything just works.
You have to get, everything just gets on the same page all at the same time. I mean, that's how you win when you're Carlos Ortiz. When you're Dustin Johnson or Brooks or Hideki or Day, you can be one shot. Like, let's say Ortiz 3-putts one of these holes and Dustin just wins. Oh, he led in tee to green. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, of course. And I don't want to expand on it, but Dustin gets so hot when he wins. I was like, please don't ruin. I mean, he's still incredibly live this week, but
I would hope so. He's second in the favorites.
I was just like, when he went, the Travelers win is like the one outlier in his career where he didn't stay hot out of a win. So I was really hoping he didn't win yesterday.
Yeah, and then he was like bad for 3 tournaments in a row. 3M Memorial, whatever it was.
Won again.
Yeah, then he just went fire.
Yeah.
And then Rahm actually beat him in that playoff at the BMW. Let's talk about the Masters, though. Augusta National, I think people are pretty familiar with it at this point. The cut line has changed. So it was top 50 in ties, plus anyone within 10 strokes of the lead after 36 holes. That is no longer the cut line rule, although if you watch the DraftKings Masters show, I will say that is the cut line rule because it changed on Monday morning. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent change for the Masters, but like you mentioned, with the split tees, the terrified of darkness coming in and delaying it till a Monday, they just don't want any part of this, so they're shrinking it down to top 50 in ties. This incrementally hurts my 2 Masters to make the cut parlays. Not so much, though, because it's not like every year. Like years when Spieth is way out ahead of everyone, it's top 50 in ties. No one is within 10 shots of the lead because he's out by so many. Last year, like 60-something people ended up making the cut because it was so clustered. So it's not really going to change all that much. So I'll release all my final picks on that Wednesday live show, including the to make the cut parlays. And don't think, I guess with split tees, it won't really make a difference because I usually like to make one that is just for the live cut sweat show. But now I can just take anyone.
Yes, you can take anyone. Last year, I believe 66 of like 86 made the cut. I remember we would do it like DraftKings 6-6. Usually at the Masters isn't worth much. It's not the U.S. Open. It's not any other major. But I like getting rid of riffraff. Like, I didn't mind that one bit.
It doesn't
I didn't
bother
mind
me
it
at all.
one bit. Let's go. I got Tua Herbert to get to. Let's go.
Yeah, so Sunday, it should end at 3. Do you think that... Obviously,
10 to 3 is the CBS broadcast Masters window Sunday from what I saw.
So
Eastern.
what happens if it goes into a playoff? They're not going to preempt football.
No, they're not preempting.
So where does the Masters go?
Yeah, they will.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
No, they won't.
How long of a playoff?
I don't know. If it goes into a second of no matter what the football game you will have at 4 p.m. Eastern time on CBS, it's going to outdraw the Masters.
Okay.
It will. Straight up.
A couple things. When I see that 3 p.m. out time, to me is that them saying we want to be out of Butler Cabin by 3 p.m. and get to the NFL today? Or 3 p.m. is when we think we're done just tournament play and we have an hour for a playoff in Butler Cabin? They not only do they want football, Pat, they want the NFL today on probably by 3:15.
I think that they're saying it ends at 3 broadcast window and they're giving themselves an hour of pad time before. Just like they're building that into in case it's slow, in case it's a playoff, whatever it might be.
I mean, if Tiger wins, you got to give it the full detail.
Spoiler alert, Tiger's not going to win.
Okay, fine. But Rory winning a Grand Slam won't alter football.
No. Tiger is the only
Spieth?
Tiger is the only one that can alter pushing into football.
Brooks.
No, there's one name. It's Phil. Actually, 2. If Phil wins, and either of those guys are gonna win, so it's not that big of a deal.
Freddie Couples.
Yeah, sure, Freddie Couples. Is he even playing?
Yeah, he has to be.
Oh yeah, I thought he was injured or something like that.
Even if he's injured, he would take the shots.
I wasn't looking too far down the list here.
No point in.
But that's the broadcast window. I don't know where. Let's say it does go to a playoff, and it's Adam Scott versus Corey Connors in a playoff. Like, that's going to CBS Sports Channel.
Mike Weir versus Larry Mize. We're out of here.
Well, I mean, even if it was like the Mike Weir year in 2000, it was Len Matisse versus Mike Weir in a playoff. Like,
wait, why did I? Sorry, yeah, Len Matisse.
I don't know where that goes. Golf Channel?
Yeah,
But it's not NBC, so they don't have the rate. It probably goes to CBS Sports HQ. which no one has, I don't think.
No, there must be another Viacom channel that they own. That's
They're gonna
like
put it on Put it on MTV.
Something. I don't know what they own right now, but I assume it goes on to something that's relatively accessible.
Did you take a look at the app yet?
I was doing flyovers yesterday instead of watching my defense. I only watch offense. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Is that for like mental health reasons? You can't watch the Chargers defense?
Bosa and Derwin aren't playing. I don't know those guys. That's not like me.
That's not
just,
your team?
Yeah.
Those aren't your Chargers?
I just watch the offense.
Apparently, from what I can glean from the app, if people don't know, the Masters app fucking rules. It is the best app in all of sports. And especially compared to the rest of the golf apps, which are just a train wreck and don't update in real time. You get like every shot after it happens within like 15 seconds on the app. However, there is a live streaming feature, it looks like. I don't know if it's a live streaming feature or if it's just like a highlight feature that you can build into the desktop version. I don't know if it's available on the mobile version, but you can pick your own groupings. So let's say you build a DraftKings team of 6 guys, or you place 4 bets this week. You can go click on those 4 guys and set yourself up with a 4-box or a 6-box on the site, and it will show you all the shots from those people. How great is that? It's all we ever wanted. I hope it's live, and even if it's not live, I'm okay with that. Just want to see the shots of my guys.
I could tear up as you're explaining that experience, because it is literally all we ask for, and we understand logistically
it's tough.
They can make the investment in infrastructure that other majors and other tournaments just can't.
Although with all this betting money coming into the PGA Tour, they can do that now. I don't want to hear it as we're too poor to do it.
Yes, there is a lot of money flying around the space. So I'm imagine they could, the betting companies could facilitate a lot of this. There are even some betting companies that somehow offer live Euro tracking.
Yeah,
which I don't know how that's freaking possible, but it's happening.
I assume it's through the 15th Club. They've set something up where they can do this. And we're going to see for the first time, sports betting and daily fantasy represented at the Masters, because it sounds like Bryson is going to have a big old DraftKings logo on his shirt. Or his hat. I don't know. I love it.
That's going to be... DraftKings is all about that.
We are
taking that ad space at the finish line of the Kentucky Derby. That's what you see. When that green jacket is going on that Hulk-like guy, you are going to get DraftKings in your face.
Well, just to show the relative value of a Bryson DeChambeau versus a Pat Mayo, DraftKings is going to pay Bryson DeChambeau about 40 Pat Mayos in order just to wear a logo, where I'm doing 400 shows a year. I need to be more like Bryson.
The workout bench is over there, pal.
I know. I'm trying. I actually have a torn calf muscle right now, so I can't do any cardio. So it's just lifting. So I'm just bulking up, going full Bryson here. That's what I'm spending my quarantine doing. You want to jump into this?
Let's give her.
Should we talk about the bets that we've made so far before we start talking about this, just to get that out? What do you have on your card so far? For me, I have Justin Thomas at 20-1. I have Bryson DeChambeau at 40-1. I have Justin Rose at 75-1. I have Sebastian Munoz at 2,500-1, along with a top 5. They have not canceled that bet. That is sticking. So, Sebastian Munoz, you want to come fourth? I am all for it.
That would be quite spectacular.
If Munoz can win, I have a lot of money.
I have Bryson 40-1 is my biggest bet. I parlayed him up to 50-1. The thing that you would hate, taking a 40, taking super chalk and saying now you're 50 just because I wanted it. You know why I did that? Because I missed a 50 the week before. I was no, I'm determined to get that 50.
Just as a note to anyone who is gambling for the first time and tuning into this show, don't do that.
Yeah. Okay.
And ask Tim Andercuss how his money line parlay worked out when his one favorite bet was plus money, and if he had bet it, he would have won.
Anyways, 30, 40, 50. This will be my biggest haul ever.
Bigger than the Willett haul?
Yes. It is. It would be quite big. We're not done. Cantley 40, Hatton 69.
Nice.
Justin Thomas, Christmas. I pulled an 18, And I have a ROM with my super lock from the Jets last year, November 2019.
So what number do you have that at?
37.
Okay. So you're not making any bets here.
I am pretty much done other than one like place, a pony to place.
Which you also bet to win too.
Yes.
So I think that we should talk about this from the standpoint of, let's say we have not made a bet.
Of course, and I'm prepared to do that. I have suggestions along those lines only. Betting Masters is like sport to me. It's like sport. It's like a all year round thing. Catch a good number. I'm so proud of myself. If something happened to me this week, I would like tell the paramedics to give these passwords to my wife. Like, it's important. It's important. You know, like, screw the Herbert cards. The Bryson stock.
Here's the issue.
It's not going to happen.
Anyone who's been watching this show, and that's the thing. That's why we need to talk about it from the aspect of
8-1 is crazy, but it's not
No.
going to happen.
Let me finish.
Sorry, I'm excited.
I get that. From anyone new watching the show, everyone who's been watching the show has these Bryson numbers. I've seen big Bryson tickets at big numbers floating out there from the past 9 months. If you're new to the show, you're not going to get that. You're going to get 9-1, 8-1, and you're probably not going to bet it. So let's talk about the odds. Bryson is the favorite. DraftKings own Bryson DeChambeau. He is 9-1 at DraftKings Sportsbook right now. Dustin Johnson, 9-1 also after a good week in Houston. John Rahm, 11. Justin Thomas, 13. Rory McIlroy going for the career Grand Slam, 14-1. Xander Schauffele, 16-1. Brooks Koepka, 17-1. Those are your favorites at the Masters. Bryson was hanging at 22, 25 before he actually looked good on the weekend in Houston, and now he's down to 17. If it was just you looking at this for the first time, where does your money go? Because once we examine sort of the history of the Masters, especially recently, someone inside the top 30 in the world is going to win this.
Yeah.
From what we've seen. We've seen some bigger numbers win in the past 4 years. Like, obviously, the main reason that we're still doing this show is because we hit Danny Willett to win back in February of that year and got triple digits on it. When he closed, he was 50-1.
Yeah, 60, 50, yeah.
He was 50-1 when he closed. Yeah. Sergio wins at 45-1. Reed wins at 45-1. I know you might have a better number. Those
you're
giving me. You're giving me the look. This is the number.
I'm not giving you any bad look. I'm doing it in my head. I'm liking it. Those are the numbers. I'm agreeing with you. If I have a look, I'm just got 100 thoughts in my head. Ones. No, you are making every point. And even if you want to look at the first time major winners, even past that,
I'm just let's keep it to specifically the Masters. That would you bet one of these top guys, knowing that the winners come from like the next pool of players? What did Tiger win at? 25? Or was he like 10?
Even shorter. No, it could have been like 25. I'm trying to remember what would have Spieth would have been like 18 because he had such a good first run and he was like under 20, right?
He was one of the favorites, yes.
And Bubba's first time was probably 45, I would think.
One thing that I don't think that people should get caught up in are like the stupid Masters trends. They're fun to read. They're fun to look at. But like Dustin Johnson doesn't have any less of a chance to win this week because he's the number one player in the world. And the number one player in the world hasn't won since Tiger, like 15 years ago or something like that. Like Dustin Johnson's just as live as anyone else. If he's going to win, he's going to win. Turns out it's just hard to win the Masters.
I'm so crazy. I'm one of those guys that thinks there's like 6 number one players in the world. So I don't think
the odds are telling us
it doesn't mean as much to me.
The odds are telling us there's 7, and the number 4 ranked player in the world is actually 35-1.
We will get to all of that. I will say, I said this at the U.S. Open. I think Xander Schauffele does not belong here in this pricing. I don't know whether they're trying to protect placings, but Tony Finau is just as likely to pull a top 5 as Xander Schauffele.
Sure, but I think that there is a bit more win equity baked into Xander Schauffele here because he wins tournaments, and people love to bet him.
Sure, I don't.
So you can make him whatever you want. People are going to bet him.
I don't think. As I said, to me, there are like 6 super elites. And that doesn't even include Webb Simpson, which is unfair of me, maybe. Xander Schauffele's not one of them. I take exception with him being included there. I'd rather bet. If I had to come to it this week, I'd probably be looking at Rory or Justin. Just because they're elite, like in this under 20-1.
I would say for me, it's Justin Thomas or Dustin Johnson. I mean, actually, you know what? At the price, I'd rather bet Bryson than bet. I think Bryson's going to win. I really do. Everything is lined up perfectly for him, and I actually like DraftKings-wise, I actually like that Dustin Johnson had such a good Houston. Not that I don't think that Dustin's going to be bad, but he's so cheap on DraftKings relative to Bryson that everyone's going to gravitate to Dustin, and everyone's going to watch everyone talk themselves out of Bryson.
Oh, he'll make a double into the trees. There'll be a lot of good, but it'll be offset by this, that, and the other, right? Like, I get it. You can do that. I'll say this. I'm kind of against some of these aggressive lines he's taking or saying he's going to take because I don't know what the problem with him being 140 in like the fairway is. Why has he got to go to another hole?
Why not?
Because there's like things in the way.
They said the same thing at Winged Foot. Like, oh, you can't bomb and gouge this place. Oh, it turns out you can. That's the only way to play this course.
I'm also really excited about Rahm this week. Honestly, gun to my head, kind of no odds. I would have him right there with. Well,
he is in odds. He's there.
Yeah, I know, but gun to my head, and it almost feels like. How do I put this? It almost feels like who's gonna win in this almost anyone but Bryson world, which isn't fair because they're all pretty close. I really do like Jon Rahm. My big concern with Rahm, it's really only one. For this price, for this place, he's done everything but really contend in a major.
He has a 4th and a 9th the last 2 years at the Masters.
There was never moments where he was going to win. When he was really
2 years
young,
ago,
he was really young, it was kind of close, but he was out early. There was never like he's in the throttle of a major championship.
No, he was there the Sergio year. That was what, 2 years ago? Or was that Reed?
No more. Reed was 2 years ago, and he was kind of there. He didn't get going. Fowler got going that day.
I feel like Rahm got going really late. Like he went out late, and then just basically was even par through like 13, then got it going and got back into it, but he was too far out.
Anyhow, there hasn't been this. I almost wish he'd had a heartbreak. They've been close, but there's no been. Okay, maybe you could. Yes, the 4th place. There's been like no. Phil Dustin as heartbreaks are like extreme at levels of heartbreak, but there's been no one incident of total heartbreak. And I'll go as far to say that was Xander also, to be perfectly honest. Despite how
Xander could have won a few of the U.S. Opens. Not this year, last year and the year before.
The British Open that he was Molinari won, the baby cried.
He was winning until like the 16th hole at that one.
Was he winning at the 16? I thought he lost it earlier than that.
No, he couldn't get the up and down.
With the baby, right? He had the crying baby. I don't know. I hate that we get to these majors and I feel I get myself put in this position where I bad talk Xander. I love Xander. Pat, I truly believe, maybe I'm crazy enough, he's closer to Patrick Cantlay in the picture of the game.
I actually agree with you, but that is just not how he is bet. And therefore, they can't list him that way.
That's fine.
If they list him at 25-1, the most handle they're going to have that they probably don't, they should probably want to take it. But they know they can take 80% of that same handle at 14-1.
And I'll say this. If he wins, I'm not surprised at all. You could play drinking game with the I'll say this is from me. Feels like we're already off to a hot start, so get cracking. Xander can win. I'd be thrilled. Happy for him. San Diego kid, let's go. But I feel he does not belong in this pricing.
Isn't it weird to see him above Brooks?
I thought there's no way with the double barrel 66s. I did some content, some early looks. Even with my Fade the Noise Friday shows, like if Brooks is walking and showing life on the weekend, he flipped Xander on the board. I didn't think tied. I thought they would flip spots.
They did not.
Xander's kept, but this is sort of what you've alluded to. There's so many guys at the top, but the back end didn't. The guys behind them, that second tier, didn't get any bump. I am scared. Brooks did everything he needed to do in Houston, as far as I'm concerned. Double barrel 65s on a weekend. That course wasn't easy. I'm going to give Brooks props for two things. Not only did he have a fantastic week as it pertains to a return from injury and a lead up to a Masters where just his swag could get him to the finish line. What a tremendous course they put together there. And I don't want to overblow his consultant point, but he said his main contribution to the designers looking for his consulting was he wanted all those runoffs at greens, not bunkers that can save these guys. Greens with runoffs that make it very hard to get up and down, and challenging down the stretch. So I thought in that respect, that was his contribution to his first dabble in golf course architecture. And I loved what we saw out of that golf course. And credit to him for this performance on the weekend. I was hoping I could see him go to the knee once and not have to be afraid of him. I am deathly afraid of him ruining that amazing super pack of futures I have.
Would he be the bet here?
Probably
17-1.
Yeah. You know what? If I'm just football guy and it's Masters week, you could bet like JT and Brooks
and be on your way.
card. Say I'll tune in Sunday while the Jags are playing whoever and watch this instead. That could be a move if you're just jumping now. That makes sense. I'm cutting you off, but that makes more sense than getting no value in this second tier, maybe.
Potentially. So here are two things you can do with live betting. I'm actually saving a few bullets for live betting this week, mainly because there's split tees this week, which means that half the field's going to go off on 1 on Thursday. The others are going to start on 10. Now, what are basically the 3 hardest holes at Augusta National?
Well,
10,
the A-main
11,
corner.
and 12.
Yeah.
13, super easy. But you're going to get some of these guys, some of the bigger names, who
just
start on 10 that are going to be like 2 over par. Everyone's like, oh, they're done. And then their numbers are going to drop. Not significantly, but...
And then they can make an eagle and a birdie on 13,
and then all of a sudden they're 1 under.
And a par 3.
And if you're Xander, instead of being 16-1, you drop to 25-1 very briefly if you have a bad start. I don't know if that's going to be necessarily factored in. You'd think it would be logically, but you just know... You know how these books work? It takes until it happens a few times before they can really catch on to it. That this does appear to be one of the times where you can get them.
Well, and also, you always got to be weird. The live, there's always opportunities, but remember even going into the U.S. Open, I was super high on Bryson. I thought he was a super elite, getting totally mispriced. But we said the second he shows life, his live odd will reflect that he's Dustin Johnson playing very well.
And the only other guy in the field like that this week is Bubba. If Bubba starts 2 under, he's 5-1.
He becomes Rory McIlroy in terms of he's treated like Rory McIlroy just went 2 under. I mean, yes, they'd be higher, but full respect of elite. And I mean, when we're ready to jump tiers, I have a lot to say.
Well,
about
I mean, I would say
player.
it's the exact same thing. Where is Spieth at? What are his odds? Like 900-1 or something?
Where are we going?
He's 70-1 this week.
Should I bet a placing on him?
Maybe. With Spieth, if he starts 3 under through 6 holes, he goes from 70 to 9-1 immediately.
So Spieth does Thursday, because I was a bit under the weather last Thursday, and I hit my meds, and he was in the lead at 3 under.
If you want to wager a cent on Jordan Spieth this week, bet him as first round leader. That's the bet. I think he's been first round leader at the Masters 2 of the past 4 years.
First round leader, a comfort course. We saw, where did we return to play? Cologne. What was the first event back? It was like a bread and butter course for him. It's his not Masters success track. Colonial. Even this week in Houston, he started hot before the bogey train.
He can still make birdies with the best of them.
There's not a ton of... Am I wrong?
You don't think there's a ton of bogeys at the Masters? Well, that's something that we should discuss, because this is in November, not April. It looks like it's going to be really soggy. There's going to be rain in Augusta. At least that's what the forecast is projecting right now. In the morning, it's going to be not cold, but it's going to be between 60 and 65 degrees. In the afternoon,
mid-70s.
It appears like it's going to be 70 to 80 kind of thing. So that's fine.
That's April.
Yeah,
right?
It is, but I do think that the mornings could get cold. If you're out really early, that before it heats up, right now it's not projecting that way, but where it is in November, I would think that the conditions could really come out of nowhere at 8 a.m. versus the second week of April. That's just me speculating on this.
We could even get a little dew delay.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they have heaters underneath the fairways.
The sub irrigation. Rory made an interesting comment.
Is anyone even talking about Rory this week? It doesn't seem like they are.
Great for him, though.
It is. It's perfect.
Great for him.
Although there's no fan, so he can't win.
He's got to be over that already.
He's been bad since... Not bad. He has not been Rory since the restart.
Not one time. I thought there was... we had a break, right? he had the baby, and then there was a bit of a break out of the FedEx Cup. I really thought we'd see some great things. We didn't. We saw some life in Chicago. I got excited, right, at Olympia Fields.
I had bets on him that week.
But yeah, really nothing. He made a comment that around the greens and the chipping areas, he's felt that the Bermuda grass isn't fully alive, but it isn't fully dead, and it's going to create a lot of really flubby chips.
Well, that's bad news for Bubba. He's just going to be putting from everywhere.
3-putt avoidance.
That's how he wins the Masters.
Yeah.
His lag
greens
putt,
and rag, 3-putt avoidance.
His lag putting at the Masters is impeccable. Because like it was like when Tiger won. I always think back to the shot last year that really won. It didn't win Tiger anything, but it was just like, oh, Tiger is dialed in.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was the lag putt on like number 9 from 90 feet away, and he put it to like an inch. Like he has the weight perfect. He's going to start making these.
I know exactly the hole you're talking about. He was high. The green pin was at the front, and he was at the back.
Yeah. No, he was at the front. The pin was at the back. I think no, you're right. Yeah, he was at the back. Pin was at the front.
Yeah.
And just like trickle. It's like, oh, just don't 3-putt.
3-putt avoidance.
Yeah, but that's not a real stat, though.
I know.
Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to look at the 3-putt avoidance leaders, and they're going to tell me who's not going to 3-putt.
Because guys don't even 3-putt. Like, they're 3-putt avoidance. Yeah, most of these pros can lag to 4 feet. Being aggressive, long 4 feet, and hit it every time.
I just worry that, do you think that because the Masters, unlike any other course history really does matter. Knowing the little tricks and everything like that. Being played in November, with different winds and, it's a little bit colder. Maybe the grass isn't quite the same as it is. Do you think that screws people up? I don't know is the answer.
I'm not sure, but you were saying the thing with the trends and everything. Can I, before we get into more, I want to almost debunk something you just said. Because while I'm totally anti-debutantes, and there's 3 of them, or that'll gain some notoriety, right? Scheffler, Morikawa, Wolf.
Munoz.
I think they can place. We've seen debutants place. Finau came 5th as a debutant. Guys place. Cam Smith. Guys place all the time. The outright win to me is impossible. I don't care if like Wolf was 80.
I don't actually agree with you on that. Just because I look at what Morikawa did at the PGA Championship, I do think a lack of fans opens up the door for a first-time player here.
Okay, that makes it more possible.
Just if you...
But that's a course no one else went to, and the guy that had familiarity actually won.
If this course plays slightly different than it would in April, then I do think these guys all of a sudden become live. The problem is they're all priced like they're going to win.
I would rather bet Lee Westwood than Matthew Wolff.
I don't know about that.
That's just my opinion. Now, I also...
Can you give me that? Who places higher, Wolff or Lee
No,
Westwood?
I'm not at an even, but like if I...
Oh, now we're throwing caveats onto it. So you do think that Wolff can win. Either he can't win or he can win.
I don't think they'll win. I think not getting a chance... now what I'm going to say, you will say maybe it was an advantage. In a normal year, Morikawa, Wolff, all these guys go there like a month out, go on scouting trips, land the jet. They feel it. Like they didn't get to do that in COVID. So they're really going to go in more bare than rookies ever do. Maybe you could say that's an advantage. Listen, Corey Connors won Houston last year and was the first round leader, wasn't he?
He was close to it. I don't know if he was the first round leader.
I think they can play fine. But my mind right now, for the purposes of this show and the Masters, is outright win. Although I do have some placing suggestions to giggle away. That being said, Pat, the myth that you need to have some heavy experience, you need to be 5, 10, 15 runs here, lies. Willett second-time winner. Spieth second-time winner. I want to say Reed a second-time.
No, he was 3 or 4 or 5 in.
Oh, you're right. Because there were a couple that Spieth was contending where we were betting Reed at 100, saying he's better than that guy. What's going on?
It just took 3 years for us to be right.
Okay, you're right. Sorry. That's a bad... But, yeah, so I think that's overblown that you need to have like 10 runs here to win.
Unless you're Sergio.
Sure, but
it takes him 3 decades.
That's its own path and special and saddened to mention.
So the field is down to 93 players.
Invite Berger.
Right. No, don't invite Berger. He should have played his way in. Neiman and Sergio are both out after testing positive with COVID-19. You're going to have to check back because someone's caddy, anyone is kind of live, except for the guys. I mean, maybe you should just bet Dustin, Finau, Scheffler, And all the guys,
Scott,
and
immune,
Adam Scott, all
yeah.
the guys who have previously had COVID-19 that they probably won't just randomly withdraw
And
this
Brooks
week.
probably had it just living in Florida, chilling, not playing.
I mean, I don't want to speculate on
Joke.
that.
That was a joke.
But Sergio's out, Neiman's out, and Angel Cabrera is not playing with a wrist injury.
Penguin. That sucks. I was super excited. I think I don't know, I feel like I'm overexposed. On the Masters, yes, but I love it. It's my Super Bowl. But just in terms of content, I swear last week, I'm like, I want Sergio to have a bad week because I kind of like him as a sneaky, especially DraftKings play. I'd love for him to be forgotten. And he went out and he had a bad Houston. One of the very few guys that brought Masters win equity to Houston that missed the cut. Phil has no win equity. But all those guys that had win equity got some really nice rounds in at Houston, except Sergio. So I'm sad to see him out of here, beyond the fact that I love golf and I love Sergio Garcia. And to have the Masters without him is a shame. Neiman, I feel bad for too.
He would have been a debut. He was the first outside of like the past winners and top tens. He was the first qualifier for this Masters.
Because he won the Greenbrier,
Greenbrier, which was the first event of the 2019 swing season.
Yeah, listen.
Does he get a guaranteed spot in the next year's Masters because of this?
They might.
I mean, he does he's a top 50 player in the world. He's in, but...
And I guess who, English and Berger would be the highest ranked players
Hovland.
not playing?
Hovland.
Yeah, of course. Even he was in Butler Cabin last year. Didn't get him anything.
I thought he was far more likely to get a special invite than Berger, just because he was the low amateur last year. But alas, he's not here. He's back in Norway or something. Who knows?
Well, I actually, I bet him in Houston. That didn't go well.
Do you have anything more before we jump to this next level?
I guess, in your opinion, the only way Bryson, well, there are many variables, but Bryson wins unless someone blitzes him. Just someone plays unconscious.
I mean, if we talk about what percentage chance do I give Bryson to win this?
6, 8?
Yeah, 8%.
Yeah.
It's not. It's more unlikely than likely that Bryson wins in a golf tournament.
Yeah, you're not picking Bryson like he's playing the Bucks. It's one of two teams wins the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
He also has to play the other 92 players in the field. Well, I mean, minus 30.
Yeah.
Who just have no chance of winning. Next level. Or do you want to talk about Rory? We kind of skipped on him. I don't know what to do with him. He's been crap versus the rest of these guys. I wouldn't bet him. I hope he wins. I love Rory so much. And I'd be rooting for him if he got into it. Unless Bryson was there too and I have money on him. But it's just versus just look at the numbers. Birdies he's making, he's driving the ball well. Look at those approach numbers.
Not great.
No, and the putting has actually turned around. He's 52nd in this field in putting over the past 24 rounds. Again, you can go search fantasynational.com if you want to find any of this stuff. fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself the discount and customize your ranges any way you'd like. But just his game, when you look at the baseline numbers of his stats versus all the rest of these elite players, they're not even close. Bryson can get away with hitting bad irons because he's hitting everything from 100 yards or just wedges. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be playing this week because this course is going to play a little bit longer. If I had to lean, I'm taking Bombers over everyone here. Unless it goes completely the other way and it's one of those Zach Johnson years and the winning score is +1, I don't think that's going to be the case. If not, you got to take Bombers.
Yeah. Come on.
Which I think actually makes Wolf live. If we put it this way, any course where Bryson can win, I think we've seen that Wolf can also win.
Well, then I'll say ridiculous things on top of that. That means
Hit me with one.
No, we'll get there.
No, give me one. We've just seen Wolf.
If Wolf can win, then Finau can win.
No, absolutely not. I don't get how that's a corollary. Every time that Bryson wins something, Wolf comes second. U.S. Open.
I don't care. If the course works for them, it works for Finau.
Yeah, but you actually have to win.
Whatever.
That's too tough for him.
Okay.
That's just a mental block he can't get over.
A lot of guys, I don't know. I'd rather bet Kokrak than Wolf this week.
Kokrak's not a bad play, but Kokrak's definitely not winning. I can't believe you're besmirching Matthew Wolf like this.
I'm not besmirching Matthew. We get this major. It's Matthew Wolf 40-1 to win the Masters. I'm not any part of it. Debutant. All of them. If I had to pick one, I would just take the farthest one. because I think their odds are pretty equal. So give me Scotty at like 60 or 70.
66-1 for Scotty, actually. So
That would be my pick of the try.
the next level.
Munoz.
Well, yeah, Munoz for sure. The 25-50, you got Hatton, Cantlay, Day, Hideki, Reed, Finau, your guy, must winner, Tony Finau, Bubba Watson, Morikawa, Webb, Wolf, Tiger at 45, Scott at 50, and that's it. That is the next mini range. Colin Morikawa is the 4th ranked player in the world. I don't know if he has the... I think that eventually he can get to having the right skill set for this place, but his lack of distance off the tee kind of leaves him in that Stenson category for me, where the Masters is always just going to be a larger challenge for him than a lot of people because he lacks that distance, and especially in the cold where there's going to be longer iron shots. Yes, his long irons are tremendous. It's just a higher degree of difficulty. It's the same with Webb. Like, Webb can win the Masters, but everything needs to go right for him.
Yeah.
And no one else can have everything go right for them. It was like the year that Reed won. Like, everything went right for Reed. It's going to be hard to replicate that again at Augusta, where at the U.S. Open or the British Open or the PGA Championship, there is a little bit of leeway that there are so many people that have the perfect skills for this course. That's tough to do. Bubba's 33-1. I think that's a good bet. I missed the big numbers, but I'll take 33-1.
Yeah. A couple things. Well, let me just dive into Bubba. I agree. He's incredibly live this week. I missed big numbers. What bothers me I was the guy like talking up Bubba. Not so much that like he was going to win the Masters. But do you remember going back to the US Open? He finished 31. And I was here saying, no, this Bubba feels different. It feels different. It was during COVID. He was like doing all these Instagram pics, RVing with his family. You could tell he was just such a different guy. And go watch that stuff. I said all of it. And then months later, he comes out and says that he was, I don't want to paraphrase what he said, but he was like, the things we kind of believed, he acknowledged were true. That like sometimes he's just in like a bad, like dark, unhappy place. I don't want to use like the word depressed, but he said I'd be on the golf course and I would be like miserable, kind of like not happy. And we would see that. That's why we always had these narratives of like Bubba happy places. Hope he like if he ordered orange juice today, they brought orange juice and not apple because he's going to suck if that happens. But somewhere along the lines, he found a fucking peace. And we can be here on the outside saying it's so easy to find a peace when you're a multi-millionaire, major champion, not a worry in a world, professional golfer. But he seems like he's really like found that point, Pat, where he knows he's just good at golf and he's just win, lose, draw, family. Is that like, just go back to family. Like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but U.S. Open, he finished 31st. And I was like, I'm telling you, this guy's not going to be a typical U.S. Open week. And Bubba finishing 31st at the U.S. Open is kind of like top 10 credit.
The fact that he made the cut at the U.S. Open is shocking.
But
he never does.
You've really just seen a different guy. So now he goes here. He's in a great place. He does everything right. In the tight stat models of like greens and reg, I think he's number one, Pat. Like he's doing everything right. And if I didn't have money on this thing in a lot of ways, I think Bubba 33 is a bet people should probably look to get in on. I bet it. I bet 33-1, yeah. Bubba Watson. You get, even if you want to do it with the Masters, I just said it. I like it. He scares me as a guy I won't be betting outright, that he's incredibly live. I don't even know what the peak numbers were. I didn't think we'd get here. I think it was at like 66 for most of the and even like year. Do you remember we got to like his number at Sherwood was really low, but it was a course that like you fit his eye and people were already catching on. And I don't know what, and he finished 4th. I want to say at Sherwood. I will tell you why people have been catching on. I've been tracking it too. The ball striking numbers are basically the best in the world over the past 3 months. Yeah. It's incredible. Greens and reg, and we know he's tee to green his past 5 starts. Zozo 8,
strokes gained tee to green. He's not gaining a ton. He's actually not losing around the greens like he normally is. He's chipping quite well right now. The putting is the thing holding him back. But 4th at the Zozo, 8 strokes gained tee to green. 7th at the CJ Cup, 11 strokes gained tee to green. 13th at the US Open, 11 strokes gained tee to green. Lost 7 putting that week, by the way. 16th at the BMW Championship, 5 gained tee to green. 18th at the Northern Trust, over 5 gained tee to green. And this is all basically driving and approaches. And this is the one spot where we know Bubba's won twice. He's in the happy place. Might as well go for it. Looking at the stat modeling I've done, so I've set my parameters to the past 50 rounds over the last 3 months. So most of these guys have like 22, 23 rounds. And you can build your own custom stat modeling at fantasynational.com/mail for that discount. Number 1, 2, and 3 in my ranking shouldn't surprise you. Bryson's not up there just because he's not great at approaches, and I heavily weight that. Dustin, Rahm, Justin Thomas. 1, 2, 3. 4 and 5, Bubba and Matthew Wolff. Those are the guys. They have the skill sets. Right now, Kokrak's actually 7th, if you're looking at it. Your boy Finau, number 9. But it's a situation where these are the guys that you want to go attack. Like,
yeah.
They're the most live.
He is, as you said, how do I put this? I really like Reed this week, but as a guy that I kind of wanted to bet, was hoping we'd get an inflated number once we had so many guys under 20. We're not, and he's the only guy I kind of like that who isn't a big hitter. And as you mentioned, everything has to go right. Bubba fits all the criteria. Do you wish maybe if you wanted to bet him, if you're going to bet him, it was a 40, a 45? Of course, but I don't think this should put you off. I'm scared to death that he is good. He's one of those few players. There's so few finite players that I think can win this thing. And when I mentioned my future pack, there's so few finite players that I think can spoil that sucker. And he's on that very short list. I tell you, I don't know. I'd cry for him too. Unless it like directly costs me a guy, I'll probably cry for Bubba. Yeah, be great.
He's your Argentina.
I would have a few Argentinas, I guess.
But there's this entire range that I have no interest in betting. Hatton, Cantlay, Day, Hideki, Reed, and Finau.
Well, that is...
Reed is the only one that's actually properly valued at 30 to 1, but the rest of them are just overpriced. They should be 35 to 50 to 1.
I would like to see Cantlay get closer to 30. Well, he's 28. I don't mind that. I actually don't mind that. In a week of suggestion on the line, I don't mind that at all. I came here with 66.
I like him better than Xander at his number, but there's guys like I don't think that there's a huge difference between Cantlay's win equity at the Masters and Adam Scott's.
Agreed, except I think Cantlay makes way less bogeys.
Yeah, but doesn't Cantlay feel like the younger, better version of Adam Scott right now?
Sure, so that's the type of guy I'm a sucker to bet on then.
But you're getting like Scott at double the odds, is what I'm saying. Like strictly speaking from an odds perspective, I like Cantlay fine.
I trust
we bet him
hit,
last year.
I trust Cantlay to hit the putt. Last year there were 60, 66s I think we pulled. We had that fun moment. He hit an eagle, but he was out ahead of the guys, and then he bogeyed.
Bogeyed 16 and 17.
I like Cantlay a lot. I think he's incredibly live here. This course really does suit him. I like it maybe more than I like Cantlay. If I didn't have a bet this week at 28, hoping it could get to 30, I would be in on Cantlay.
Would you be in on Cantlay first or Bubba first?
Cantlay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us why you have all these future bets, then decided to bet Tony Finau as well. I'm curious.
It's just like a new Ricky. It's just a peace of mind.
You could have bet Ricky for almost triple the price.
I don't care. Why did I? Well, first, you know me. I don't do each ways ever. Like pretty much an 80 to 1, I'll scoff at an each way.
But you did an each way on this one for 1/5 of the price. You could have just bet him top 10 for almost the same price.
I could do that too. I like the 8 places, Pat. I don't buy anything. I think he's as live as Matthew Wolff. You can make jokes. 10th at the 2018 Masters, 5th at the 2018 U.S. Open, 9th at the 2018 U.S. Open, 5th at the 2019 Masters, 3rd at the 2019 Open Championship, 4th at the 2020 PGA Championship, 8th at the 2020 U.S. Open, four top fives of 7.
But almost like your point with Xander, how many of those did he actually have a chance to win? The only one I can think of is this year's PGA Championship.
Whatever. That's why I'm saying I think it's as good of a bet as you can make. Finau with all the extra placings. 5th and 10th here. 5th off the fracture ankle on the ankle thing in the par 3 tournament. He went off in the final group with Tiger last year. He just witnessed it. But I think he's as likely to win this as he is anytime he tees it up in Detroit. He shows up on a lot of these same stats as everyone you're looking at.
But if you want to make that, I mean, it's a longer sample size. And I don't know why I'm not betting Matthew Wolff, so I don't know why I'm making these arguments for him. But he just came 4th at the PGA Championship and 2nd at the U.S. Open and had a chance to win both of those.
You're right, but he doesn't have a 5th and a 10th at the Masters, and I'm anti-debutant.
Okay.
You want to give me a pick 'em on that head-to-head?
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Okay. I'm giving you some. You should really be giving me
so
plus
I'll give you
135.
I'll give you something too. We'll find one where water will find its level.
All right. So
we'll find water.
We'll bet that. I'll bet Wolff versus Finau.
I'll take a guy behind Wolff at an even one too.
Okay.
I hate that Matthew Wolff's going to win this one day. He's going to win everything we think he's going to win, but not 2020 on for 4 days. Not from the 12th to the 15th of November 2020.
Okay. Tiger, he going to win?
More than Matthew Wolff.
I highly disagree. You want to give me Tiger versus Wolff too?
No, because one guy can finish last, and I don't think Matthew Wolff is finishing last. I think if one guy can finish, put it this way. Who's got a better chance to finish top 10? I'll give you Matthew Wolff. Who's got a better chance to win? I'll just say Tiger Woods.
Does Wolff have a better chance of winning than Tiger does of making the cut?
I don't turn this into that.
Well, we have to talk about Tiger. He's the defending champion. He's looked like crap.
He can't drive. He can't putt.
Yeah, that's a problem.
He can't drive. He can't.
And it's going to be like, what if he gets stuck with one of these 7 a.m. groups?
They're not going to do that to him.
Well, one of the days he's going to be playing in the morning. It could be
As
super
late
cold. He's
as
going to
he
shoot
can.
20 over.
He can't drive. He can't putt.
But but Fred Couples can't do that either until he's at Augusta.
Agreed. I don't have any. If Tiger wins, there's a lot of guys. Like you said, he's the ultimate Argentina in the crime. There's no money. I don't want to pick on him. You might put him on a miss the cut parlay.
I don't like missing the cut parlay is not fun.
I just want him out at 8 a.m. Saturday, Sunday, wrapping up as shit's getting real. That's what I would prefer. Phil can join him. I'm not betting it.
Phil comes in good recent form, by the way. 2 wins in his past 3 starts.
That is true.
Do they have?
Are you including the match or something?
No, I'm including his 2 senior wins.
Oh no, Tiger won that thing with Peyton. I don't. This Hatton number is also kind of laughable. I'm pulling a 69, but 25-1 seems insane. You got to bet Bubba over that. You got to.
If I'm going to really hammer down on that, I am taking distance, and I really do think that matters way more this week than almost any other week. Again, that is not to say the shorter hitters can't win. That's on the board. It's just far less likely that one of those guys wins. Hatton's he's a great player. Yeah. This doesn't feel like his setup.
I would say
it would have to play like the Willett year. Now, if it gets windy and the winds are 30 miles per hour, all of a sudden the Webbs, the Reeds, the Hattons, those type of guys are going to play really well.
Super live.
But that doesn't seem to be what I'm seeing in the forecast right now.
Not seeing it. Hatton, as I said many times, there's 2 classes of players to me in 2020 that get most improved awards or completely changed class of golfer for me. Tyrrell Hatton went to a new status of golfer where he can almost win events and it doesn't change your opinion of him. He has to win something really big for you to now change your opinion of him, which is an incredible compliment.
He's in the Webb Simpson territory.
That's a big compliment. That's Brant. Well, no, because Webb has a major.
Webb has a major 10 years ago. But just the way that, Hatton has 6 worldwide wins in the past 2 years?
It almost feels like he's been playing so over his shoes, what you believed his ceiling was. At some point, he's.
But isn't that how everyone feels about Webb?
Yes, and there are people that bet Webb at the 60s. There's nice future numbers at Webb, even after his win in Phoenix, when we thought the Masters was in 2 months. I know people were happy to bet that. I want to say the other player, and it's your boy, Munoz. He has changed a class of golfer
Yeah, even
To
I
me.
don't believe it. The only reason I have a Munoz bet because the number is ridiculous. And he was the same odds as Mike Weir when I bet him. So I was like, well, he's better than Mike Weir.
Obviously, different tiers of changing class, but they completely moved classes, neighborhoods
I would say
of where.
Lonto is the same way. Lonto has went from corn fairy grinder to like kind of real player.
And people will say Todd, but Todd is like.
No, Todd feels still not real.
Yeah, you got to win out of swing season. Although, what did he win in Hawaii? What did he win?
No, he won Bermuda and RSM or no OHL. He won double swing season.
You gotta
but,
win
but
that-
he finished in like the top 10 at the
Yeah, I
U.S.
know.
Open.
And he's still a legend, but you gotta, he's still sort of. He went from being dead to like highly respected legend status, kind of in my mind, but didn't really change class in many ways, like Hatton.
What
Surely
What
did.
number would it have to be for Tiger to miss the cut for you to bet it? Because I bet him to miss the cut at the U.S. Open, and it was plus 200. I bet you it's higher than that at this. I bet you it's like plus 350.
Well, because it's a lot harder to miss the cut. I was on the missed cut at the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open's
it's not going to be a good for Tiger's not winning a U.S. Open.
I mean, here's the thing. As much as we expect him to contend here, I truly believe going forward, his best chance at a major is a choppy Open championship.
Or this, or the Masters in a regular year when
In
he's
a
playing
regular
better.
year, but with the way these guys hit it, unless they put in an air neutralized ball, I don't know how Tiger can, like even the hat, like I don't know how they can compete with the super pack.
Honestly, Tiger would need. He falls into that category of Hatton and Reed. Not so much Reed. Reed, I'll take as as out of that because Reed, when he's playing well, he is a top 5 player. Yeah. It's hard for him to get to that level at all times. But like Webb, they need the Willie ear. They need it to be super windy, where short game and putting all really matter way more than driving it 350 yards.
Yeah. Well,
and those will happen once every 5 years.
Is it possible? And to some people, this happened after the U.S. Open when Bryson won. But if Bryson does what some people suspect he'll do, or Dustin or Bubba or Justin, like they do the complete mop show of this place, and we've got to go back here in 6 months, people are going to be like, they've broken golf.
Yeah, I like those discussions.
I do, but I'm saying it should have happened at the U.S. Open. But if Bryson does it here at the Masters, because the Masters is so much more special and different, and they, in its own way, I feel like it'll take that discussion and put it on absolute hyperdrive, where now there's like meetings for neutralized ball for 6 months from now.
Okay, so what do you think? Just being online and following golf Twitter and all that stuff, reading all the articles. What's a more enviable situation? Bryson wins, and the discussions about how Bryson broke golf, or Bryson misses the cut, and then you get all the Bryson wasn't that good to begin with. The Tim Andercuts of the world. See, he sucks.
I'm here for Bryson breaking golf, and so is my bank account.
If your bank account didn't hinge on it.
See, I don't think golf for me is never broken. Like, golf can only be broken on a professional level. None of us go out there. No course is too big for anyone I know.
I really enjoyed that when you couldn't take when they said you could keep the pins into putt, that like casual, like, oh my God, this is such a disgrace. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, put it this way, I was leaving the pin into putt most of the time anyway.
It's lazy.
Yeah,
it was
I
just
don't want to
no,
go fucking walk over there and walk back.
Sometimes you just do it. Exactly.
I can't believe that you took your putt, but you were closer to the hole than him. It's like, yeah, well, he's taking a piss over in the corner. Like, we want to speed this up a little bit here.
I don't know, but I think it's very plausible the golf's broken is super dry because it occurs at the Masters. But were they not saying that when Bubba completely doormatted this
Or
place?
when they had to Tiger-proof all of the courses, it just turned out Tiger was better than everyone. There's nothing you could do. If you made it harder, he was still going to win by 15 shots. Next range, the Tommy Fleetwood range.
That Hideki price is in big. He's got Fleetwood, Finau-esque win equity. It's funny Fleetwood's name came out of my mouth. Right? Are we almost there? Like, can you say that at this point?
He hasn't won since the Bridgestone in 2017. So, yeah.
Who would you? I mean, I guess it's fun to pick on Finau. Just
I would
get
say,
it out there.
I mean,
who wins first? Hideki?
Yeah, Hideki.
Yeah.
So Fleetwood,
You're
Louis,
probably not wrong.
Fitzpatrick, Scheffler, Ricky Spieth, Casey Lowry, Rose Champ, Cam Smith, Jason Kokrak. That is your 50-1 to 100-1. I bet Cam Smith at 100-1. Last evening, he's down to 70 in some spots. He's still hanging 100 at some spots. He's 90 on DraftKings.
He's
Sportsbook.
popular.
He is.
I've seen some Monday articles. He's a guy people are excited. You get, especially with the each way placings.
That's what it was. It was the 8 ways.
Yeah. He's
Take him down to 20-1 for a top 8. I'm in on that.
What is his off the tee what is his distance?
Distance-wise?
Now, granted, at 100-1, there are shortcomings with a player when you're asking him to win this tournament.
He's not super long. He did gain on the field driving distance-wise at the Zozo, which was encouraging to see because all the bombers were there. But he hits the ball so high. He carries the ball really far.
That is
so
that
if it
day
is
ball flight, that Rory flight.
If it is soggy, and you're not going to get the sort of roll you would in a dried out conditions at the Masters, that sort of stuff goes a long way. I think that's why people like him. His apex height is going to stay, like, if he's hitting darts, he's going to hit it to like 3 feet a bunch.
The thing about Cam Smith also is majors can do wonders for a player's perception. He came in, he did that, fourth place? What did he do?
He has a
Got up and down from everywhere here.
Yeah, but he has a great short game.
I know, but it was like the perception, like the golf fan, like, oh, this genius wizard kid, Kuchar-esque short game. And you're right. His game is good enough where that narrative doesn't really leave because he does, statistically proven, have a fantastic world-class, makes these insane up and downs from everywhere. The day that you're in contention but you're not scoring, your short game keeps you close to those leaders.
It doesn't take you out of it, which is really key.
Because not everyone's going to party every day. You hope they do, but you know.
It never really works out that way. It was like I didn't have any money on Sam Burns at Houston, and I'm just glad.
You thought about it?
Well, when we had talked
Anytime
about
it's a shortlist player.
Yeah, it was just one of those guys, and I knew like almost everyone bet Sam Burns last week. Like it's almost like if Cam Smith is in contention or Bryson is in contention, like everyone we know will have money on those two guys, it feels like, with the way that everyone's talking. So with Sam Burns, he was leading after 3 rounds in Houston. It was just like, oh, I'm going to miss out on this. And then he had the day that all my guys have been having on Sundays. Like, oh, they're 1 shot off the lead. They're winning by 2, and they shoot 74. It's like, oh, great. I just don't want that to happen this week. I don't want Bryson to be up by 3 and blow it. I just can't handle that. I've been losing too much recently. But from this range, there are 3 guys that I have circled that I'm very interested in. Casey, Lowry, and Rose. I have money on Rose at 75-1. He's 80-1 now.
Never quit Casey.
I don't. It's not that I'm betting these guys, but this is the best Paul Casey number we've seen at the Masters in years since we've started doing this show.
I really thought Sherwood worked out well for him. That was the Zozo. That was really embarrassing. I promised I wouldn't, but I'll probably roster him a lot. And then people will laugh at me when I'm part of the people that admit to being part of that group that's over-rostered Paul Casey. But I am...
He still came 35th at the Zozo.
Well, how many people were in that?
80?
Not Zozo. Oh, yeah, Zozo.
Yeah.
Zozo was Sherwood. Okay.
17th at the U.S. Open.
What did he do at CJ Cup then?
He was like dead last.
Then that's the one. Sorry, I knew it was way worse than a mid-30s. I wouldn't have hated myself for that.
I'm not going to bet Paul Casey because I think I'd rather bet Shane Lowry if I was going to jump into this range. I liked what he did last week. Ball strike, tee to green last week at Houston, 10th. Just behind Dustin Johnson. Couldn't make a putt to save his life. I don't like his Masters history. It's really tough. Like when you look about those trend lines that very rarely do you see someone miss the cut the year before and come back and win. That'd be him and Rose this year. They both missed the cut a year ago.
You can bet South African Finau and Louis. If we consider their North American metrics.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet Louis.
Always a sucker. That feels short, though. They're like trying to squeeze my placings or people's Louis placings. That feels shorter than it should be.
And I just think Lowry at 80, it's not like he can't win a big event against a strong field. He's done it.
And Fitzpatrick, you're right. It seems like I'd rather go to Cam Smith at 100 than Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick's going to be a very popular bet this week.
Was it the U.S. Open? He's been for a while.
Good player.
He is the epitome of will have to play absolutely perfect.
Unless the conditions get so crappy.
And he's in that other
tier of guys that just can, well, even in the Willie year, what was he, top 5
I don't mind Scheffler for... I'm not betting anyone here. I'm just not. I thought I could see a 80 on Ricky.
The 70 is not good enough for a guy who's not going to win?
Nothing's happened. I wouldn't even care to bet the placing. I can cry for him, though.
He is good at the Masters, historically. Course he likes.
I don't want to harp on it because I've said it so many times for many years. For many years, I guess 2 years. The Sunday, the week he had the Reed win, he wins 88% of historic Masters. Reed didn't wilt a moment. Reed didn't give back anything. Reed got up and down from here, from there, from everywhere, helicoptered off the tee to glory. Ricky did almost everything other than make a really aggressive play into Rays Creek on Saturday and save par. We should have just laid up. We would have had the stroke. Even didn't Reed hit the pin on like one of those late holes to like keep one from going like 12 feet past? Probably would have made the putt. He's a fucking man. He's the fucking man. I love Reed, but it's just he's a hard guy to pull the trigger on because of distance week. Where were we, Ricky? Yeah, I don't know. Spieth's got a better chance to win than Ricky. Even I can admit that.
Shane Lowry last week was 4th tee to green in Houston. It was Sam Burns, Dustin Johnson, Harold Varner, and Shane Lowry.
He just had like a bad 45 minutes, I think.
Who, Lowry?
Yeah.
He just couldn't make any putts all week. That was his issue. Same as Burns. Like Burns, for a guy who you think just putts so well on Bermuda, couldn't get it done. You're going to need to make a few putts to win the Masters. I've heard that.
I'm looking for a name, but well, I guess he's in the next tier. This is the thing. I didn't bet it myself, but it was a tip that I was wrong about because I'm not a Rose guy, so I had no Rose futures. Out of like COVID or in his downturn, he was like 40, 50 to 1 to win the Masters. And I pretty much like came on shows we did together, Pat, and said, if you're one of those people that bet Justin Rose to win last year's Masters at like 20 or 22 to 1, how are you not betting these 40 and 50s when he's got half a year now to figure it out? It's 80 now. I'm lucky I ain't a Rose guy, although now it seems like the U.S. Open again, where he kind of, was it the U.S. Open or the PGA, where the number was high and he freaking loitered.
It was the
and
PGA
it seems
Championship.
really good.
Yeah. Listen, the one different thing about these veteran guys, it's not like he's short off the tee. He's still long off the tee.
Plenty long.
When we talk about like historic Masters guys and where it really starts to come into it, it's not at the top. It's this range of guy. I think that you can maybe get your placements out of him. And Rose, nothing indicates that he is going to play well, but he tends to play well at the Masters.
Yeah.
It's like the same reason you like Lee Westwood. Justin Rose is the better Lee Westwood.
Probably.
And they're not that far off in odds.
Probably, Pat. And so I guess I have to make this statement. And I'm sorry if you bet those 40 or 50s. I would maybe encourage you to go back in. But if you bet Justin Rose to win last year's Masters at 20 to 1, 18 to 1 maybe, wasn't he number 1 in the world?
That was the Sergio year, I think.
No.
Was he number 1?
Because he won like two.
He was number 1 in the world this time last year?
Yeah, because remember he made the Onmont switch. The clubs, yes. I'm telling you. No, it might have been Brooks by this time last year. Anyway, last year people were betting this guy to win the Masters. I'm sorry I interrupted my take at 18 to 22 to 1. If you made that wager a year ago, I don't know how you can look at the numbers this week and not be a part of it. I'm not a Rose guy. Wasn't a part of it last year. I'm not a part of it this week. But I condone that for sure.
Like I said, I just got a worse number. It's 80 now. I got it at 75. Just because I am one of those people that had been betting Rose over and over and over.
Yeah,
when I saw 75, I was like, yeah, let's go. Why not?
And to your point, like he plays well at some places. You said it. Like to me, him playing well here is far more likely than at like Harding Park.
And it's not one of these things where if Rose, like when we think about, let's say all these guys were playing again.
Was he first round
next week,
leader with like Xander? Sorry. I've been good.
If these guys were all playing again next week at some random course, like let's say the Houston Open was next week, but all these guys agreed to play again, that if Justin Rose gained 12 strokes tee to green at the Masters and came second, I don't think it would actually indicate that he's in like great form all of a sudden. This place is just an outlier.
Yeah.
And So let's talk about long shots, if there is any that even you would consider this week. I have one. Munoz, like I talked about that number. Munoz's number right now is 200 to 1. I got a way bigger number than that. I do think he is the type of player that could play well here.
He's impressed me every step of the way. Why not impress me at the Masters?
He's played some hard courses really well. He's not long off the tee, but he's not like the shortest guy out there. The irons have been really good. The around the green is excellent. And he just gets fire with the putter when it gets going. Again, 2,500 to 1 versus 200 to 1 is a big difference. The only one that I think that I'm going to bet of the long shot category, you bet him last week. He was your one and done last week. I just looked at his odds, 200 to 1. He needs to win soon, or he's going to the military. My main man, C. Woo! Kim, 200 to 1 with the top 8. Pfft, sign me up. He was 21st last year, 24th the year before. Plays well at the Masters. He's 6th in the modeling, too, by the way.
Fantastic. 200?
200.
That makes more sense than Corey Connors at 150.
That makes more sense than Abraham Answer at 125.
The guy I wanted to just rattle off. I mean, I mentioned I think Westwood could be live here at a place. He has played well.
They're not giving you a discount on Westwood.
Agreed, but he's played so consistent.
Except for last week when I used him on DraftKings and bet him.
He's been pretty consistent. Granted, he's a European guy now, so it's not the same events and fields, but I swear to you, the guy has been playing so solid. Love to see him show up this week. Any temptation for deep placings on a Matt Kuchar? Or is the game just so far gone right now?
Almost like Rose. I think if you get him to Augusta National, maybe he rediscovers what makes him good and why he plays well here all the time. But there's nothing. At least Rose, he still has those high-end skills. We just saw him pop at the PGA Championship.
You're not just banking on Rose being great. Yeah, it's not like, he can scramble. Well, he's up against it, Kuchar is what I'm,
Yeah. Like
in a way, Rose isn't up against it if he's playing well. Even if Kuchar's playing well, he's still kind of up against it.
Let me ask you this.
Right?
Could you see Justin Rose winning the Masters this year?
Yes.
Could you see Matt Kuchar winning?
Done.
And that could be completely off base and wrong.
No, but you're right. Because even if Kuchar's playing well, he finds like good Kuchar. So many things still have to click. If Rose finds his ceiling, it will be a lot easier path.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I don't know.
You taking the plunge on your old boy, U.S. Open champion Gary Woodland, 200 to 1 on the
wasn't there just a surgery? Oh, it's just a labrum tear. I saw there were pictures out yesterday. He was practicing with JT.
It's a labrum tear of his hip. Oh, I forgot to mention, my inside source at Augusta National tells me that Bubba Watson usually plays his pre-Sunday round with Condoleezza Rice and her husband. He did not this year. He played by himself.
Well, I guess it's because of COVID.
I'm guessing so. Although Condi's probably lurking around.
Oh, yeah, she's on the thing there, right?
Well, she's a member at Augusta. Is there anyone from down
Where
here?
were you? Who were we talking about before this? Someone's name.
Your boy, Corey Connors?
No. Molinari. Then he showed a little bit of life in Houston. People are kind of getting excited.
It would be a nice revenge spot where his career went off the rails 18 months ago at this course.
Do you know how they have plaques where Bubba's shot in the trees or Phil's got a shot from? Do you think they should just have Molinari's body stencil on 12?
Yeah.
The
outline.
For all time, just leave his outline there. I would love to see him play well, but not there. I asked you about Phil, just to talk about it. Missed the cut. No chance.
I don't think he has a chance to win. I think it would, I don't think I would hate a first-round leader on Phil. Because why not? You see old guys capture their magic, and Phil isn't quite at the old guy territory yet, completely cross him off.
Okay, I gotta ask. Mark Leishman, 175 to 1. The game is so far in a sewer, but he's got the game that's played well here historically. 175 to 1 with placings. I don't know that the stats are gonna make you like this though, because hasn't he been worse than anybody alive? I just see red on your page.
His best finish was at the Tour Championship when he came 29th in a field of 29 people.
It's just gone.
His actual best finish, he came second when he lost to Hatton at API, and he has been god-awful ever since.
And he's won API, and he came second last round API. And API, by people in the tour, is a Masters comp course.
Agreed. And he generally plays really like there's something wrong with him.
Something is wrong. Okay, now we're gonna get to the freaky deakies. No love, Stenson, right? 200.
He's. I mean, he withdrew with an injury 2 weeks ago, and he's been bad.
Will at 300.
No.
He withdrew after one round. Just he claimed precautionary, but
If you're gonna go down in this level,
don't.
I would recommend betting short game players. Like, don't worry about the bombers. The way that these guys contend is they make, like Justin Harding last year.
So pay up for Kisner?
Weird that he's not in this level.
Well, I guess, but he's still pretty 150. But okay, Harding, yes, 500.
I'm not betting Harding, but Harding finished 12th last year. And how did he do it? He put the ball in the middle of the fairway, and he made all his 20-foot putts. That's just like, it's hard to replicate. But if you're gonna go do it, like Snedeker at 200, I don't think Snedeker's gonna win, but he has the type of like weirdo game where he can just contend for a while, even if he's playing like shit. Oh, Snedeker is behind a tree. Oh, he chipped 2 feet for birdie on a par 5. He's one of those guys.
What did Panormus win again to be here?
John Deere?
What did T Dunks
No,
win?
Heritage. He won Heritage the week after last year's Masters.
Oh, of course, a blur. What did T Dunks win?
RSM last year. He beat Webb Simpson in a playoff. Like the guys that I'm talking about, like you can either spend your money, like I actually just like Siwoo because I actually think he's like the minor league version of Reed, right? Like when he is playing great, he plays great. And he's great at everything. But rather than, let's say, I don't know, Ben Ann at 200 to 1. Ben Ann, on paper, his skill set is the type of player that can win Augusta if he ever made a putt. But he can't make a putt. Yeah. So that's a problem. But then you look at someone like Kevin Na, who has the wrong skill set for Augusta, but has played well at the Masters before because he makes every putt sometimes. Mm-hmm. So that would be more my lean towards a long shot, chipping and putting, if you're going to go for it. But Siwoo is the only one I'm touching, along with Munoz.
Charo might have also been a guy that won on his second time here.
Correct.
I know I knew there were a couple more.
Has that been in the back of your head for like an hour?
No, but I just saw his name again, and I knew I had saw it in some things I was looking or doing.
The only one
was Lucas Glover,
the glove.
The one that Tiger, the miracle chip was against. Was that Glover?
No, it was against Chris DeMarco.
Yes. Their face. Yeah.
Skill set wise, there are 2 players at 200 to 1 that I think that could be viable. Not saying I'm going to bet them. Maybe I'll put a top 20 on them, something like that. Again, tune in Wednesday to find out what I end up doing, and maybe you want to fade those. Wallace at 200, EVR at 200.
The course doesn't feel hard enough for Wallace, but I always love EVR, and his greens and reg metrics tell me he could be worth a place, right?
I mean, greens and regulation's a stupid stat, but that's me. It doesn't really contextualize how big greens are. Like if you only played Pebble Beach, your greens and reg would be super low because they're really small greens. You go to a place that has super big greens, you always play Trinity Forest, you're going to hit every one. Like it's not.
I just rather not have to scramble.
Fair enough, but it's not reflective of. It's not predictive in any sort of way.
I would just rather not have to scramble. Despite you can't not depend on scrambling because it's a vital part to winning and closing.
Fratelli, 14th in driving distance, so that's going to go a long way to help him. He gets it going so bad for like 5-hole stretches. Maybe he's a first-round leader guy. Like I said, top 20 type. Wallace just is a complete unknown. Like he was bad at the Masters last year. I don't know what to make of him. But it feels like when he gets going right, he can contend. Are you going to continue answering your texts?
Wallace, it's not hard enough for him. But I love his stomach if he's actually contending and in it versus a really elite golfer. Like he's a guy I'd foxhole with anytime.
Like if it was him, Bryson, and Rory in the final grouping, you think that he'd be able to handle it?
No, I don't think he would be like afraid, like in a Patrick Reed sense. Like I don't care. Like I know you're like we're equals. Like here.
So is he someone that we should be targeting for Ryder Cup? Like when we get to Ryder Cup, he's going to be really good.
Well, those guys, that goes 50-50 because they could build it up so much.
And we haven't seen him there yet.
And you haven't seen him there that it can like flip and go the other way. This is a big week for Ryder Cup because if you like a top 10 here gets you top 50 in the world for a guy maybe like that, certainly for a guy like Westwood Patton. And they get into this calendar set for those 2021 WGCs, which are so important to making Ryder Cup for some of the periphery.
The Ryder Cup team has to pray Westwood does not get on that team.
Well, his consistent results.
I know, I get that.
I know,
but it's at Whistling Straits. No thanks.
Yeah, you're right. You almost need Thomas Peters.
You need the bomb squad.
Yeah, you need like, hey, Colt Sarts. No, you're not wrong. Even Hatton feels like, oh shit. Although he's a baller in two-man golf, he's a gamer.
Put him out there versus Webb, and you'll be good to go. Like they can both have their own skill sets. They can have their own like different matches.
Yeah, but Ryder Cup is the blind pairings.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, President's Cup is where they do the draw and you can set a matchup.
Listen, once you're at a certain skill level, it doesn't matter what your skill sets are. When you're just good, you should be on the team.
Yeah, of course.
A lot like McDowell all those years, or even Poulter all those years, where their skill sets didn't necessarily match up with some of the American courses. It didn't matter. It's like Reed. It doesn't matter where Reed goes. He's gonna play.
Oh, and guess what? Double Ryder Cup points this week. Patty's ain't gonna. I'm not saying Patty's winning, but Patty's gonna play because Patty's been driving great, and when Patty drives great, he contends.
One and done picks.
I'm ready.
The Masters. You are selecting John Rahm.
I am. Have it available. It's go time. Vamos.
Andercust is picking Xander Schauffele. Although his official pick to win is Rory. Usually we have him on, but he is currently at work. His three picks, his big three this week, Rory, Xander, and Cameron Champ. 1, 2, 3. He's back on Champ. He gave up on Champ, disowned him. Champ wins twice. Now he's back on board.
Do you? That's a skill set. Do you like Champ as a placing?
Nope.
Because Tim?
No, I like him at short courses.
Where he just overpowers the shit out of
For whatever reason, on longer courses, he's not.
How long is this, though?
7,428 yards, I think.
See, because of how like the media's played it up, there's this perception that it is
7,475.
There's this perception that it's way shorter than that.
It's going to play longer in the colder weather without the roll.
For sure.
For me, I have it down to, I only have, when we were going through this before the show, I've actually used all of the best players, like you're supposed to in one and done.
Yeah.
I had none of the elites available to me, which I guess I didn't expect the Masters to be now. And this is the last one of our one and done.
Yeah.
I am currently winning by $600,000 over Tim and $900,000 over you. So like you said, I just need to lay up.
You can lay up. I told you, you lay up. You got this.
So, the one guy that I have not used, who I've been shit-talking this entire time, I just need my layup. I just need a tie for 12th, and I win this thing.
Yeah.
Tony Finau.
You're going to get it. I said, you lay up with Finau. You lay up. You just, you got 260 into that green on the par 5. No, we're going to lay up.
Yeah, there's some water in front.
Yeah.
Let's lay up to 100 yards and 2 putt for par and get out of Dodge.
I mean, it's prudent. It's where you are. You're the leader, the guy. I rolled off the major results. He needs to just have his median performance. I don't know. Every week.
It came down, if people were wondering, I had Finau, Reed, Louis, and Hatton left. I can't believe I didn't use Patrick Reed all year. That kind of blows my mind. But
that is shocking.
The time to use him was at the very beginning of the year, and I missed that. And then there wasn't really a great time to use him afterwards. So it was between Finau and Reed. And honestly, if one of them's if I had to bet one of them to come inside the top 10, it would be Tony Finau. If I had to bet one of them to win, it would be Patrick Reed. But I don't need to win.
I totally agree with you. And I heard someone having the same debate, almost like, if I need to make, like, who do you think's more likely to come in the top 10, Rory or Finau? They're like,
no, because Rory always comes in the top
who's
10.
going to win? Like, Rory.
I would think Rory's the favorite in both of those.
Of course. And do you want to do Scheffler Wolf as our second leg at even? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
So Wolf v. Scheffler, and then it's
Wolf v. Finau. I hate, like...
I should really be betting Patrick or Matthew Wolf to win, right?
You can play... I hate that it's like we get to the majors and I pick on Wolf. I'm picking on Wolf and like Xander. I think they're both everything.
Apparently not.
Except a little less.
Apparently you think that Tony Finau is everything. An Iron Chef.
I do. I am so dumb, Pat, that I actually think if it came down to it, Finau wouldn't be any more nervous than Xander.
Well, Finau doesn't need to be nervous. He knows he's not going to win, so what's the big deal?
Finau is a man of strong faith. He's got 8 kids. Xander's
He has 8 kids?
7, 8. Yeah, he's like
So
the
he's-
Phillip Rivers of golf. I'm a Chargers fan. I could be a Finau fan. It works perfectly. There's always a moment where you think the day will be different. In the end, it's Groundhog Day, buddy. I still believe Finau for placings. Some books might even throw out 10 placings. Out of 30,
only British books are throwing out 10
35 to 1.
I don't understand why you wouldn't just bet a top 10 at that point.
Well, maybe I'll do them all.
But why invest your money? Like if you're going to play the placings, half that money goes towards the win.
Yeah, that's why I don't like placings anyway.
Just take all the money and bet it on the top 10. Because the top 10 will be like, what, plus 285?
I'm trying to mitigate people making fun of me on the internet all week for liking Finau.
Everyone's going to like Finau. Everyone likes Finau.
So how popular will he be in the games?
Well, he's only 8,800 on DraftKings.
So he's going to be hyper popular.
I can tell you I will go through the full ownership projections on Wednesday's show. It's still Monday. Most people have not done all the research yet going into it, but I would expect him to be, I guess Dustin now might end up being the highest owned player. I would say it's between Finau and Dustin as who is the most owned in the Millionaire Maker. You know who no one's owning? Tommy Fleetwood. Or Tiger Woods. 2 lowest owned guys. Spieth will be like triple what those guys are.
I already took an L at the start of Masters Week. I could not get these Masters Jordan 5s. I don't know why. Normally, Nike Canada didn't even put them up. And I've been getting cocky because I've been so good at pulling what I need. So if you got a 11 and a half, I got shit to trade. Herbert Prisms too, but I got other exclusive shit.
Bets for the Masters. So from before the Masters, my card will look like Justin Thomas, 20 to 1. Bryson DeChambeau, 40 to 1. Justin Rose, 75 to 1 with the each way. Actually, no, it's not. It's not with the each way. I can cash that out at a loss and rebet Justin Rose to get that top 8. That's what I'm going to do. Sebastian Munoz, 2,500 to 1 with the top 5 each way because they only started offering the 8s right now. Ads, Bubba, 33 to 1. Cam Smith, 100 to 1 with the top 8 each way. And see, Kim, 200 to 1 with the top 8 each way. That's my card. I might add a few first round leaders, top 10, make the cut parlays. All that will be on Wednesday once I dig into it a little bit more. How about you?
Justin Thomas, 18 to 1. Bryson DeChambeau, main piece, 40 to 1. Patrick Cantley, 40 to 1. Hatton, 69 to 1. Rahm NFL season exotic 2019 up to 37 to 1. My week of suggestion is Tony Finau. Take all the placings anyone will give you. I really do like Bubba too, but I can't make that bet. But I think that's a very strong wager. And Patrick Cantley's still flirting with a 30. I totally condone that. And if you're brand new, you're just a football guy, I swear you could pick 2 of those. You could pick Brooks and JT. You're going to wake up Sunday, you'll have something.
Yeah, if that's all you want.
That might be the move. I don't know. Like, what are the odds one of those top 7-6 win? Because some books like throw that out there sometimes. Like minus 150?
Probably, and it's probably not a good bet to take them.
Probably a bad bet because you've mentioned the recent history. Every year we do the show, I'm like, there's no way the winner gets out of this group. Every year the winner is in the group right behind or just behind that. What are you betting?
Siwoo.
200.
Wanted to make sure I got that number before it went away. I always find Masters Week really, and maybe it won't be such a thing this time around, only because there's football going at the same time. But when you see like First Take and PTI, And they're
college game days going Saturday.
But I know I understand that. But when you think about like network shows, like what are the main narratives, like the mainstream narratives for the Masters this year?
Bryson.
Is it Tiger or Bryson? Like if you're first take and you're talking
Both.
about something,
Those are the two. Bryson, Tiger.
has-
Rory's trip Grand Slam's gone.
has Bryson reached that level mainstream wise for sports fans, or is he just more of a golf guy? Like that's the golf story.
But the sports networks are trying to prepare you for him being that. So they're like, as much as we think maybe people don't know about him, they're trying to like feed you the crumbs. So when the coronation happens, you're fully prepared. That's what it seems like they're doing because they need a star. Because Tiger's at a point, right? And Rory's European and hasn't won a major in 5 years, and Brooks is cool, but he turns people the wrong way. And I guess so does Bryson anytime you see him looking for a rules official or telling a cameraman to leave him alone.
But Bryson has read upside for golf. Is that he can be a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's good to have the guy that you dislike be good too. That makes sports amazing.
Yeah, Speed's boring. Baby face. Yeah.
So Tiger, Bryson. Is Phil the other story? Like I said, like if PTI is talking about the Masters, who were they talking?
They're not talking about Phil.
Okay, then who is the third guy?
Rory, then a Grand Slam. Brooks Koepka because his double barrel 65s and he's got all the big trophies. More than Dustin. Brooks gets that spot more than Dustin if we're looking for a third PTI guy.
And no one talks about Rahm or Justin Thomas.
No, they just don't. Rahm's never won a major. Justin Thomas is still whatever.
Who is the Justin Thomas other sport comparison? Is it Mike Trout? Like Mike Trout, he's great. No one cares.
Probably.
Okay,
I mean, he won a major. Yeah, sure.
He has a major, and like he's widely known as the best.
Yeah, maybe pound for pound. Yeah, sure. That's not a far off, but you're never moving a needle the way, I don't know, like Aaron Judge, but you're 8 times the player Aaron Judge is.
Yeah.
Like
Aaron Judge is Bryson.
100 times the player. Well, I would know because Bryson might be Mike Trout too. Bryson might be everything.
I'm very curious to see where this Bryson thing goes because eventually he's going to get older and he won't be able to maintain.
Yeah, but he says he's playing forever. See, he's got
Well,
to win this Masters.
He said he's going to live forever.
So if he wins one Masters, he gets to play at the Masters till he's 100. We win.
yes, he should.
When he lives to 140, it means he gets to tee it up at 100 based on his math.
At the PGA Championship, he should have won that one too because you would get the lifetime at that one or till you're 60 or whatever. I'm just thinking that like his physicality right now, which is such an advantage for him, it's going to be tough to maintain that sort of body when you're 34 and 35 and not 27. Trust me, as someone who just turned 35, bit different maintaining the same body type as you did when you were 27.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure he'll adjust.
He's obviously training his body.
But it will be different.
That's every athlete. Like the pitchers, every pitchers lose a fastball. You got to find something else.
Sure, but when the state of your game, and it's not like he was bad before. Bryson
Even
was
like
excellent
Tigers, right? He's lost a fastball, but we've seen him Jamie Moyer it up to some magic.
Tiger still, even today, and that's why Tiger is still live for all of these things. He still has the one skill that you need in golf to be better than everyone else. He is still one of the best 5-iron players in the world. If you can hit your irons, you're an amazing player.
And this is a really weird thing to probably be my last word. But going back 2 weeks, I swear to God, Pat, I don't care if you're one of these like 22-year-old young stud up-and-comers or you're 60 years old trying to get your final breath. When Brian Gay wins, everybody gets air in their tires. Everybody. And I have always used Gay as like a legend, like a joke, and like they're all good. Even Gay's good. Like he's had his card for 20 years. Like there's no bad golfers here. But when he wins at that age, there's no way Brian Gay's gonna win again type thing. Like 22 years old, 55 years old, you all think like I can effing do this.
And we've seen it a few times this year. Gay, Herman, Michael Thompson, Sink.
Yeah.
It's been happening. Anyway.
Although this week it won't.
No.
We got like 20 guys.
Unless it's Munoz.
Unless.
You can come for me for a loan. I'll buy you those Jordans if Munoz ends up winning. That will do it on the Pat Mayo Experience Masters Edition. You can check out the DraftKings show, which is already out on Mayo Media Network. Please subscribe to Mayo Media Network. Remember to smash the like button, and in the comment section, give me your favorite bet at the Masters. It could be a winner, it could be a top 10, it could be to miss the cut. I don't know. Best of nationalities. Geoff Fienberg, when are you going to be doing your shows? Wednesday
night, and it just might be an FTN.
What time?
Wednesday night, 10 p.m. We're planning on a bit of an FTN spectacular with like Axis and
Sky and Drew.
Like, we figure let's just like make it like Masters Eve party, join forces. Wednesday night, 10 p.m. You got to spend Masters Eve with me. So that's exciting.
So 10 p.m. Wednesday, ftndaily.com. Go check that out. You can also find my Pivot Plays for DraftKings column up on ftndaily.com on Wednesday. You can find my full column and DraftKings cheat sheet on DraftKingsPlaybook.com. I will be live noon Eastern time on Mayo Media Network Wednesday. Final picks, weather, and answering all of your questions that you got about the Masters. You come with that football stuff, you save that for the football show. It's Masters week, people. Let's have some fun with that. Check out the football shows while you're at it too, though. Then Geoff and I will be live on Friday afternoon, maybe 3. I'll release the time on Thursday afternoon once we get a gauge of how these rounds are going. Translate that over into Friday. Cut Sweat Live, one of the most fun shows that we do every single year. So we hope that you can come sweat along the Masters along with us. All right, thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!